So, friends, we've had some great conversations, and I know that the educators out there have probably been well nourished from what we've said. I'm curious to know because who's in front of me, all of you amazing, phenomenal beings on the Youth Advisory Board, you are very, very resilient. You're very accomplished, very kind, and successful souls. And so, what did work for you in terms of the educators that have served you along your way? What worked and what didn't work? And how did you become who you are becoming constantly today?
Anybody want to start?
I can start. What pushed me through actually high school, elementary school, just through the whole entire school system, it's always one counselor at each school that I connect with. Like they knew my whole entire life. I felt like they were in that labor room with my mother. That's how deep that bond was, and it's always one counselor. Out of all the schools I went to, it's literally one counselor. So this particular, I'm talking about high school now. The particular counselor that I had, I got taken from school. So 2-for-1 kids came and got me in the middle of school day and picked me up and told me I had to go. When I say I went AWOL, I literally went AWOL. I was like running through the whole entire school, up and down stairs. I was hiding in bathrooms. I just didn't want to go. Then my counselor found me. I don't know how this lady found me. I swear.
Connection.
Like, I don't know how she found me. I was hiding underneath one of those it's not a pew, one in an auditorium, those seats. I was hiding under there. I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to go. So she sat me down, and all she did was just hug me. She didn't say no words. She didn't say nothing. She just hugged me, and I just started crying, and I just started crying louder and louder and louder. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I didn't even realize I was standing up, still crying, telling me I don't want to go. And she's just caressing me. It's okay. It's okay. You're still going to this school. I'm still going to be here. We got this together. That lady has been in my life.
That's beautiful.
For the time I was 14. I went to that high school in 2014. I was 14. I just turned 14, probably like 14 and 3 months. But she stuck with me all the way until I had my daughter last year, 23. That it's always one person in the school system that any youth, whether you're in foster care or you've been adopted or you're just, you're just in a loving family and you just need somebody because at that time you just don't know how to cope with whatever you're going through that's rocking your world. There's always going to be that one person. And if you are that somebody to that youth, never let them go. Never let them go. Because once you do, they might drop. Trust. I got let go and I dropped. First time ever going to the Justice Center. I dropped. Then she came back. And now I'm here.
Yes.
And as being here, it's bringing my trauma and foster care actually turning into, I'm alchemizing my pain into power.
Yes.
So this is amazing. You never know what to say, what you do to a youth. You can even just tap them on that shoulder, that touch, that might stay with them until the rest of their life. You just never know.
So being seen, it sounds to me like you felt very seen and supported.
Yeah, growing up with my mom, I was the oldest child with her, and I was also the mom. So I had a mom, we had a mom, but I was the mom. So I didn't know how to be a kid. I never got seen by my mom because she was never there. Granted, she was working, or half the time she was in an argument with her boyfriend at that time. So I never had a chance to get told anything that, a female youth would need from their mother. I never got hugs. I never got kissed on the shoulder. Never got told I love you. I tell my daughter every second of the day I love her because I never got to feel how that feels. And it makes me feel good just to tell my daughter after I just told her 30 seconds ago that I love her. because
Hey,
I want her to.
celebrity. We love you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you.
No.
Thank
No,
you.
like
Thank
seriously.
you.
No, for real.
Thank you. I had to grow up alone all of my life pretty much. My nana died at 6. I had left with my mom. Then something happened in my mom's house. Got put in my dad. Something happened right after I went to my dad's house. Got put into foster care. So it's like I didn't. It's all I know is me. So you will meet a youth like that as well. When all they know is themselves. That's all they're gonna know. Even though they have people around them, they're not with them. They're around them. So it's not gonna feel like you're whole. So when I had that counselor, she pretty much basically redirected me because I was going downhill. I first joined the YAB group at 16, 17. I was still going downhill. And I came back as an adult because I'm traveling up the hill now.
Yes.
There's no more going down. I don't have to put on my brake. Like, I'm going up. I don't need a brake to go up the hill.
Yeah.
You know
I
what it
just need to
sounds like?
accelerate.
It sounds like you were on that fear cascade.
Celebrity, if you ever fall down that hill, you know we're gonna catch you.
For sure.
We're gonna pull you
girl.
back up. We're gonna be like, nope, yoink.
We got you.
Nope.
You are not falling.
We got you, girl. We got you.
And
For sure.
I needed to hear that. Because in the back of my mind, there's always that thought
That little
of slipping.
doubt. Yeah.
Like, you know that the gas gonna run out, right? You know your brake gonna go out, right? Even though you don't use it, what happened if, like, you might gotta take a stop. It's gonna go out. It's gonna go out. Your door might fly out. It's gonna go out.
Something's gonna happen.
Something's gonna happen.
Well,
was
if
a-
your brakes come off, then just know somebody else's works.
We gonna kick you in, girl. Yes, we
and
got
be like,
you.
hey, move.
Yes,
And
we
then
got
they're just
you.
gonna push you up the hill.
Yeah, I agree with celebrity. For me, growing up, one of my biggest motivators was seeing the trauma and living through it. I got took at the tender age of 3, so it started really early for me, and I noticed like I didn't want that for me. I didn't want that for myself, so I really took hold of the books and education. I was always top of my class. I graduated top 10% in high school, got a gold court. So one thing that worked for me was being involved. I was involved in any and everything that I could be in. And during my involvement, as Celebrity said, I was able to find that one teacher. It was always either a teacher or a coach for me because I did a lot of sports. And they just wrapped their arms around me. And I feel like what set them apart from the other teachers was they kind of, we're told all the time to not mix business with pleasure, but they kind of seen it at a different light. They seen it as, you know, you're one of my child, you're one of my students, so I'm going to actually, you know, take the time to get to know you and help your situation and just be there for me. It's just like they took their job to a whole nother level. And I think that's kind of what we need. We need people that's, you know, able to take that extra step and really just get involved with their students. A lot of teachers, they don't really know their students. I mean, but they're overwhelmed. So, you know, I have to take that into account. But that and just being a part of a team, I think that's what really helped me. As I mentioned, I did a lot of sports. I was captain of my volleyball team, co-captain in the 8th grade. We went undefeated my senior year. So being a part of that team, it was just like having a family. So that is what helped push me by staying involved and staying connected. Even when I got to college, which was the hardest for me because I didn't, you couldn't just easily go get on the basketball team or go get on the volleyball team. And, you know, I had social anxiety, so it was hard for me to make friends and go out to the campus thing. So once I got involved with Hemi, and I got my mentor through Hemi, which was a mentoring thing that we used to have, is no longer here, but my mentor to this day, since 2019, she has kept in contact with me every birthday, every holiday, even Valentine's Day, y'all, she got me something. And it's like people like that, and it's like no matter what, I cut her out for 3 months. I was like, I don't want to talk to nobody. And she was okay with that. So having those adults that have that understanding and willing to just go that extra mile, that is what really helps. Even if you can't do it, but you know a counselor who maybe can, or even a coach or whatever that maybe can, like Celebrity said, hold on to those youth that y'all make an impact on. And do not forget them, because we will not forget you all.
Never.
Never. Nope.
For me, my teachers have always been understanding because, I always, talk to them. Except I never found counselors very helpful.
What would have helped you? What would help you?
Well, right now,
What did help you?
what helps me is surrounding myself with people who love me no matter what. And actually, this year, like 20 kids or so wanted to fight me. And, I was cool with it. I was like just walking the track and they were all behind me. I didn't care. I didn't care that they were behind me because I knew that I wasn't going to fight them. And so I was just okay with it because they weren't going to do anything. But then Aries and CJ stepped in and I held off CJ because he was easy to hold off. He was just like, he was tiny. Like, not tiny as in, like, tiny, but he's tiny compared to me. Like, his, I guess, like, push. You know what drives you? His is very tiny.
Real quick, too, also, you said something, and I wanted to expand on that. You said that you talk to your teachers.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that you can? What signal do you get from them that lets you know that you can open up?
Well, some teachers, it's just that they reach out first. Like, I had this one teacher, and, like, those teachers that are, like, assistant teachers that are always there to help children, and they're always just walking around. It's those, mostly, because they're not really, like, teachers.
So they reach out first?
So when they're, and they're just like, do you need help? And I'm like, nope, I know all this. And then they're like, okay. And actually, one of them, she brought her snake. And I was like, am I going to hold it? And it was a corn snake. And I loved it. And I held it for, like, most of the class. And I was like, yay. And
How
like,
did she know that she could bring a snake? Did you tell her you liked snakes?
Yeah.
So
and
she listened and she remembered.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then I told her
Active listening,
about
yes.
this Gills Club thing that I used to go to, but I kind of, like, aged out because, I'm old.
Girl,
But then I told her about it, and then she signed her daughter up for it. So I'm glad because I helped a little girl discover something that she might like in the future. And I got to hold her snake. And her snake...
What was her snake's name? Do you remember?
It was like something like corny or something because it was
Something corny.
It was like a field, I think. It was like a corn snake. Its name was Field or something.
One of the things I've heard you say, and it's kind of been consistent, it's the value and the importance of people listening. And it seems like that's important to you.
Yeah, because everyone wants people to listen to them.
Yeah.
They don't want you to just be like, did you say something? Sorry, I was completely zoned out.
So it's being present, right? And that's why they call it a gift, because it's very present. And I want to thank you for that share, and thank you all for that share. And I'll say for me, what I remember is what was really helpful were teachers that understood that everyone is a student and a teacher. So I had an educator, I'll call him Dr. B. And Dr. B, he taught me that. He said, Mel, I can learn a lot from you as well. You're an expert in your lived experience. Please teach me.
Wow.
And he said, because everyone is a student and a teacher. And he told me, and I'm humble enough at 60 years old to say that. And it stuck with me.
Wow.
And so that was what was really helpful for me. Yeah.
I think early on I decided I was just gonna faint and submit and be what everybody wanted me to be. And I did that up until my sophomore year. And then my sophomore year, My freshman year I had the same teacher, but she was specifically my English teacher. And she had been my English teacher every year, actually. But she was my person that she became my person. But my freshman year, I didn't like her. When I say I was terrible in her class, I intentionally went out my way to make her job difficult. And one thing that really stuck with me is she never gave up on me. Like, she always welcomed me with open arms. She always just kept that inviting thing, and it wasn't like I didn't come in the next day and she was just like, oh, you were standing on my tables yesterday. It was like all of that was erased, and I'm just Jaleesa coming in a whole new day, and that meant a lot to me because of them labels, right? We keep them labels and they go, but every day she erased my label. She erased what I did the day before, and she started new with me every day. She was also the one who taught me the power of my writing, because I had a lot of, I'm going to call it anger, but I've learned since this training that it's not anger, it's energy. I had a lot of energy, and she was the one that showed me how I can do that. And writing, it's always been like a strong suit, but I've never like oh, I'm gonna write this down. But she was the one that's like, write about it, put it in writing. And she like really, really pushed that on me, and that was something that helped me start learning to cope. And then it's like my sophomore year, I was like, you know what, I actually do want to be better. I'm like, the way I'm moving right now, I'm gonna end up just like my parents. And to be transparent, my mom was a prostitute and my dad's been in prison my whole life. And I was literally like, when I say I was following in their footsteps, I was very promiscuous. I didn't care. Nobody could tell me nothing. And it took me kind of just like having that moment of like, wow, you're actually going to end up just like them. So with her support, I wanted to be better. And she showed me how. And it was just channeling my energy differently. And another thing, she never forced it. I think that's another big thing that educators could learn from. She never forced that relationship. She never was like in my face, like, let me be there for you. It was just at my own pace. It was whenever, but she always let me know that she was there, she was around. And then I was actually put into independent living when I was 16. They didn't give me any life skills. I knew nothing. They put me in an apartment and said, this is yours. Maintain it. And still go to school and still do this. So here I am, 16-year-old in my own apartment, trying to figure out how to maintain a home. Mind you, I've never had anything of my own ever, so it was just, but she was right there. She got me a crock pot. She got me a crock pot cookbook. And there was just like them really small things where she just like really went out her way to like just support me and be there. And then with all of that, I just kind of started seeing my own potential, and I started seeing what I can do. And that's honestly what's been driving me ever since. I am too that person, that adult I wish I had, that safe adult that I wish I had. I'm that parent that I wish I had. I actually started the youth advisory board from scratch. So to see the family that I've built, like when I say like, and I'm not gonna try not to get emotional, but it's been like that, it drives me. Like, so when we're like going to state hearings and meeting with all these youth organizations and actually like influencing policy change and trying to improve the foster care system, and I meet youth like us, you know what I mean? And we've just built a whole board, and we connect, and it's just like, so it just keeps me going. But yeah, just trying to be better than I was yesterday. That at this point, that's literally what keeps me going, and we just be making it happen. Make it happen.
I honor you. Yeah, I honor you all.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes.